Howdy, guys, and welcome to Cliff Notes, and welcome to a recap of night number 12 of Big Brother Season 25. All right, we finally got the feeds back yesterday. Almost a full day gone. It was horribly frustrating, but we got the feeds back. No real indication as to why the feeds were off so long. They did have a veto competition. Doesn't seem like it lasted that long, but I don't know. We'll find out later exactly what was going on. But we did get the feeds back. As a real quick refresher, we had Hisam as HOH. Riley and Cameron were on the block. And we do have a new veto winner, who is Hisam. Yes, once again, Hisam has won veto. First of all, let's talk about today. There's going to be a veto ceremony. I don't think there's any way whatsoever that Hisam uses the veto. He's going to keep the nominations the same with Riley and Cameron. So one of them is going to be going home Thursday, unless there's some kind of weird twist or someone self-evicts, or who knows with this season. But we'll have that. The big question, I think, is going to be whether Riley goes home, or whether the rest of the house decides to send Cameron home instead. Hisam is dead set that Riley's going to go home. We'll talk about that in a second. Everyone else, maybe a little bit more team, I can't call it team Riley, but maybe so. But certainly it seems like everyone else would be maybe more willing to save her. Just depends on how scared everyone is Hisam and going against his HOH. It does seem right now that Riley is probably a couple of votes short, but Thursday is a long way away. I got to say, these house guests, it's Sunday. They are talking as though the eviction is tomorrow. It's not. The way they're going on, and Cirie included. I tend to think that Cirie may be talking, because she spent a lot of time yesterday talking game, especially early. I think part of that may be she's used to Survivor, where everything's a little bit faster. You have your immunity competition. You immediately come back, work out your strategy before you go to tribal council. Big Brother's a whole different animal. You got a lot of downtime. I think people are playing a little too fast right now. Just take a breath. You've got a long time before we get to the eviction ceremony, but they'll learn, but not yesterday, because there was a lot of talking going on. All right, so let's talk about Hisam. He has now won 2 straight vetoes and an HOH. He's come in second in all the other comps that he's competed in. This guy is proving right now to be one heck of a comp beast. He's putting a huge target on his back. I don't think there was any real reason he needed to win that last veto. Yeah, he keeps the noms the same and all of that, but worst case situation, if someone else had won it and pulled one of his picks off, well, he still had another strong player to put up there. He could have still gotten rid of Cameron or Matt. I think it was a no-lose situation for Hisam. I think his anger and his just ferocious desire to get out Riley kind of interfered with that. He wants to make sure that she stayed on the block, so he won it. Unfortunately, he's put a big target on his back. And we're going to talk about some of the discussions people have had about Hisam throughout the evening. All right. Well, one more thing before we talk about the live feeds. Well, maybe one or two things. Have-nots. We don't have any new have-nots just yet. We've only had 1 week of it. Surely it's not going to end that quick, right? But as of now, no one's sleeping upstairs in the have-not room. No one's on slop. We'll see. I'm sure the nether regions are going to have some kind of effect on that. We'll find out soon enough. All right, let's talk about the TV episode last night before we get on the live feeds. The set for that HOH competition was incredible with the homes and all of that. Now, it makes sense. It is CBS. You are playing this game in a soundstage on a movie lot. So I'm sure they had a few homes just sitting there ready to be used. But really a cool set for this competition. Would have been fun playing the game. I did think the TV episode, a little drawn out. Took a little too much time doing that competition as opposed to talking strategy and everything else. But still fun to watch. All right, let's talk about the live feeds. We've got a lot of them, so I'm going to go right through. A lot of them just throwing out a comment, a conversation here or there. It was tough trying to go in and pick which ones are the most relevant and not, and covering it all. So I'm going to quick fire a lot of things, and we'll talk about it. First of all, we had yesterday Cameron and Jared talking. Cameron is believing that Hisam probably wants to get out all of the physical threats first. That's his main goal. that makes sense because Hisam, well, I was going to say he's a physical threat, but so far, he stacked the flowers or whatever. He won this challenge running from door to door and all that. So is he a physical threat? I think he is, but the comps he's won so far, maybe not so much. But he does want to get out the physical threats first. Izzy is talking to Cirie and implying that Riley is probably going home, suggesting that Riley's probably going home. And she's saying that after Riley, Cameron should be next, followed by Jag, and then by Blue. So Izzy's got her order worked out, as does Hisam. I think that's a little. You can make your plans, but just be aware you've got to be flexible when you play the game. But she certainly wants Cameron gone right after Riley. She would love to go ahead and send Cameron home right now if she thought she could get away with it. Just not sure if she thinks she can. Cirie is pointing out that Hisam might not be keen on that plan of Izzy's because he's tight with Cameron, may not want Cameron gone. That's probably the other part of maybe what's driving some of Hisam's just absolute desire to get Riley out. It is also not being as vocal or not wanting to get Cameron out as much as some other people are. She is worried, Cirie's worried that Red and Cameron and Hisam could form a tight alliance. That those three guys could end up working together, be a tight alliance that they're going to have to deal with. All right, we've got Corey and America talking. Corey is worried that neither Jag nor Blue would put up Hisam if they got a chance, and is actually suggesting that maybe he and America could work together. I think America is the one who said that she's ready to make a big move. And so Corey maybe is recognizing that, thinking they may be the two that would go after Hisam at some point where no one else would. So Corey's been doing a good job of trying to interact with as many people as he can, and that includes America. All right, we've got Riley joining the conversation, and Corey and America are encouraging her to talk to people. They're saying, look, don't just beg for their votes, offer them something. Say you'll protect them, that you'll work with them, just offer some things to help get their votes, help them see the benefit to keeping here. So Corey and America are trying to coach Riley on what maybe she can do to save her game. All right, we've got Felicia and I think the Cirie talking to Hisam. She said she'd kind of promised. Oh, it is Felicia talking to Hisam. She said she'd kind of promised to save Riley since Riley had pulled her from the block last week. But with that being said, that she'll also do what Hisam wants. Hisam is saying, look, if you vote against Cameron this week, it's going to create mistrust between the two of you. Yeah, I understand that you want to do what's right, that you want to fulfill this pledge, this promise. But if you vote against Cameron, it's only going to hurt us as a group, hurt you in the game itself. So it wouldn't be a great plan for you, Felicia. And he's also saying this. He's saying, look, she didn't really do you a favor. All she did was pull you off the block. That Riley thinks that you were old. She thinks that you were weak, Felicia. She has no respect for you. She didn't really do you a favor. It's just she had to pick two people off. So he's saying you need to just tell her, say, you didn't do any favors for me and I don't owe you anything. So he's trying to get Felicia to back off doing anything that would save Riley. Felicia asks him who his next target is, and Hisam won't say. He says, just we need to wait until we win the next HOH, and then we'll talk about next target. Remember that, because he kind of changes his tune later. He throws out all kinds of names. All right. We've got Jag and Blue talking to Hisam. They want to form a trio. They're part of the abandoning ship that was the family style alliance. So they were part of the handful, right? They were the kind of the inner circle, but they want to form a trio with Hisam. And Hisam, he didn't outright say yes, but he certainly seems very ready to maybe work closer with them. We'll see how that aligns with some of the names he throws out a little bit later. All right, we have Cirie. Remember I said Cirie is kind of playing a little hard when we started this day? Cirie had talked to Riley and said, yes, I want to save you. I don't want you going anywhere. You have my vote, but keep it a secret. Don't be telling everyone that you've got my vote or it's not going to work, because it's going to be a bit of a blindside saving you instead of Cameron. And if you spill the beans everywhere, it's not going to work, Riley. But yeah, you got my vote. Well, so what does Riley do? Of course, she immediately goes and tells Corey and quite a few other people that, hey, I've got Cirie's vote, but don't tell anybody because we've got to keep it a secret. well, they don't have to tell anybody if she tells everybody, right? But so, yeah, Sari later was a little irritated. Corey, I think, is the one that reported back to her, said, yeah, she's telling everyone she's got your vote. And Sari's saying, yeah, that you can't do that, especially being that Sunday and the vote isn't until Thursday. In fact, Sari is now talking to Jag and saying that, yeah, she kind of wants to save Riley, but she's getting scared to do that because so many people are talking right now. Again, it's different Big Brother from Survivor. You've got so much downtime. You can't put too many plans in action this early in the week because there are no secrets in the Big Brother house. Jag is telling her that it would be a good move, that it would benefit her to make this flip to actually save Riley. So certainly Jag would be happy to see that as well. Jag and Sari are talking the possibility of them working together, talking about the idea of a long-term group that would consist of Sari, Jag, Izzy, Felicia, and Jared. So basically the group that we've already got on Sari's side with the addition of Jag. We'll see if she's serious or not. But they did talk a little bit about that. All right, we've got Nicole. Remember, she's in the house. We haven't talked about her much at all. She's very much a listener and watching what's going on. We'll see if that goes a whole season or if this is just her early game, figuring out where everyone lays and then things change. But Nicole or Mimi, I still don't know which name is preferred. But Nicole and Izzy and Sari and Red and Bowie and Felicia and Hisam are all in the HOH room discussing strategy. Well, not really all of them discussing strategy. It's more Hisam discussing strategy and plans with the rest of them, it seems like. But they're all up. So are these all the professors? Pretty much the entire Professor Alliance, I think. Hisam is mentioning that Jag and Blue also want to work with him. He's telling everyone, saying, look, side alliances are good as long as we all tell each other. Don't try to keep it hidden. Just, we can all have our side alliances, make people feel more comfortable and all that. It's hard to have side alliances when the whole house is part of the alliance, which seems like that's where they're at. But yeah, they want to bring in even more people. Hisam does mention that he wants to pull back from winning, that he's won more than he really wanted to, and he's going to depend on other people at this point in time. So he's just not going to win again for a little while. That could be his downfall. Hisam is very trusting of other people in his alliance to watch out for him when he decides not to compete and throw a few competitions. But he's saying he's going to back off the winning. Hisam is also thinking that they could convince the other side to put up one of their own as a pawn and then vote them out. Remember, he doesn't get to compete in the next HOH. So he's been doing a lot of thinking about the next few weeks and the next week and how to stay protected and all of that. And part of that is, yeah, we'll just get the other side to put up one of their own and then we'll vote them out. We can make that happen, right? Yeah, sometimes that's a little harder to do than you suggest. All right, later we've got Sari and Izzy talking in the comic room. This is a pretty long conversation. And Izzy, 0 to 100 very quickly. She's a little concerned. So Sari and Izzy talking. Izzy's talking about Bowie Jane, saying that she makes her a little bit nervous. She's part of the alliance, the professors, but they're not completely sold just yet on Bowie Jane. But more talk is taking place about Hisam, and Izzy mentions that she really feels like Hisam is scaring her. That's the words that she used. He's scaring her quite a bit. She's upset that Hisam wouldn't even let Bowie Jane or Nicole finish a sentence while they were upstairs in the HOH room. She's upset. She's saying, Hisam, these other guys, why do they think that they can tell me what to do? It's interesting. It's sounding like Izzy maybe isn't as upset with Hisam's strategy. It's just the way he's talking to her and some of the other people. And that's the thing. It's not all about gameplay. You've got to understand all the other people you're working with as well. And Hisam is just rubbing Izzy the wrong way. And we know Izzy isn't going to put up with that, right? But she does a good job of just kind of keeping it under wraps while she talks to Hisam later in the night. But she's upset about the way Hisam is treating her, talking to her and all of that. She and Sari are saying that they don't want to play his game, that they want to talk to the everyone else in the Professor's Alliance, except for Bowie Jane and Hisam, to talk about an exit plan. Yeah, that's a fancy way of saying boot this guy while we got the chance, right? So they're certainly thinking about it. The alliance isn't nearly as tight as Hassan maybe thinks it is. Izzy is saying that if Hassan plays in a future veto competition and loses, they need to take the shot at him at that point. She continues to complain about Hassan and the way he's running the meetings. She's saying he's taken control over the group. This is our group, and now he's in here just absolutely taking control. He is a little power hungry this week, isn't he? She says if he's on the block, it'll be a unanimous vote to send him out the door. She wants him gone before jury. And Suri is saying, I want him gone next week. Let's get him out of here. But Suri also does warn Izzy, says, look, the same thing could happen to you. Yeah, I think you're right that Hisam could go home with a unanimous vote, but you could have a target on your back as well, Izzy. So be careful. All right, we've got Felicia walking in. They continue to discuss, complain about Hisam a little bit. Felicia joins in the discussion somewhat. Izzy is now saying that she wants to backdoor him next week, that she will backdoor him next week if she gets a chance. And Felicia is pointing out that he is so comfortable thinking that he's running the game, that he's going to start intentionally losing the comps. I think they got to be a little careful with Felicia. She has shown some loyalty to Hisam. Now, I think her loyalty is tighter to Suri and Izzy, but you still have to be a little careful. Felicia's in there playing the game. Later, Izzy starts crying to Felicia in the bathroom. This really impacted Izzy. And we know that sometimes she wears her emotions on her sleeve. She starts crying to Felicia in the bathroom. Felicia is soothing her and saying, look, I let them think I'm weak and all that. I'm going to win. I'm going to show them. And so she's getting Izzy calmed down a little bit. All right, a little bit later, just a little fun intervention. We've got Corey playing a little dress up in a pink sparkle bra and tight pink pants. Later, I think it was mentioned that those came from Blue. I guess that makes sense. I don't think Corey brought those with him. It's smart for Corey to continue to have some non-game fun with the rest of the house. Develop those relationships. And the best way to develop relationships isn't by talking game, because then everyone questions your motives, everything else. Just have fun. Get away from the game. Just do things that make people like being in a room with you. And then the rest of it tends to grow a little bit more organically. I think Corey understands that. All right, we've got Izzy in the backyard with Hisam in the hammock. Remember, she just got through in the comic room, just being really upset with him, crying about him, everything else. Now she's in the backyard talking to him as though nothing at all had ever happened. She does a good job when she needs to of just bearing this stuff and swallowing it a little bit and doing what has to be done, because she's back there in the backyard on the hammock with Hisam talking to him. Hisam is saying that Corey might be the next target, because he knows that Corey will go after them if he gets a chance. And he's worried that if Corey wins the next HOH, Hassam's going to see if he can't talk Corey into maybe nominating Jag and Blue instead of one of them. So he is worried about Corey. Hisam and is also worried that he and Izzy could be nominated together so that they couldn't protect each other. Yeah, I think Izzy's not so worried about not being able to protect Hisam, but he's worried about that. Izzy is saying, look, what if we go after Cameron next? I think Cameron would be a great next target to go after. But Hisam is saying, now Jag and Blue are going to come after us, so we need to go after them first. We know that Izzy is not a huge fan of Cameron. I'm sure Cameron is part of this group of men that she's upset, telling her how to play the game and everything else. So she wants him next, but Hisam is shutting that down quickly. Hisam, remember how I said Hisam had mentioned to Felicia, said, yeah, let's not be throwing out names before we win HOHs. Well, to Izzy, it's a little different. He's saying he wants Riley gone, and then Jag, Blue, and then Cameron. He wants them all out pre-jury. He says if we do that, then we can control the cookout. We can control the jury just like the cookout did. You may be getting a little bit ahead of yourself there, Hisam. Once they hit jury, he says, then Jared and Corey, America, and Matt can go. Be gone with you. Again, isn't this the guy who told Felicia, yeah, don't make these targets until you win HOH? Well, he's thinking a little bit further ahead than that. Hisam does say, tell Izzy that he's going to get close to everyone, so they don't put him up. Yeah, that's all you got to do. Get close to everyone, then you'll be safe from everyone. It's a little harder than it thinks. I think Hassam's going to learn that at some point. All right, we've got Felicia and Sari talking about how they're going to go from the big Professors Alliance down to the Bye Bye Bees and eventually to the Brown Sugar Babes as they progress through the game. So they realize that they're going to be losing members of this big old alliance that they've got. But they've got, just like the other side had for a while, they've got layers to their alliance, and they're happy with that. They see how this game, they want it to progress and eventually get down to the Brown Sugar Babes at the very end. All right, we got Corey and Riley and Cameron talking outside, just talking about dating. I think they're outside, if I remember. Talk about dating instead of the game. Corey did mention that if he was still in the house after this week, which he should be, he's going to miss the fall semester of college, which is starting up. He'll have to drop out for the semester. So yeah, he's mentioned that. All right, we've got Hisam talking to America, saying that not America the player, not America the cameras. Hisam is talking to America, saying he wants to work with her. She's very receptive to that. But he's also saying that he doesn't really talk game with people. He's just waiting to see how things fall out. America says the same thing. Liars, liars, liars. There's plenty of game talk going on. Too much game talk going on, probably. Hisam is saying that the cookout formed in season 23 because Frenchie put up a black player. No, that is so incorrect. That is absolutely wrong. It was not because of who Frenchie put up that the cookout formed. It was much bigger than that, Hisam. Don't be blaming that on don't be pinning that on Frenchie. It was gonna happen well before that. But Hisam saying it was all Frenchie that caused the cookout to form. You're giving Frenchie a little too much credit. I love Frenchie, but yeah, that's not why it happened, Hisam. Hisam is saying that America's a strong competitor and that she will make it to mid game. That makes me so mad when someone says, you're playing pretty well. You probably could make it to mid game. Bella, during my season, told me that, if you play your cards right, if you work with us, we can maybe get you to jury. I think we could probably do that, Cliff. That's when I decided that Bella had to go, that she was no fan of mine, and it was time for Bella to leave the house. I don't think, I think in that statement, Hisam is probably not giving enough credit to America, and I hope she picks up on that. We'll see. Hisam is going off on another Riley rant. His hatred of her seems really personal. At one point he says she's not a comp beast, and yet he is so upset with her. It's because he knows that she was looking at him as a potential backdoor target during the first week. He referred to her using the B word, which I consider to be a bit misogynistic. But he refers to her as the B word. He's just not happy with Riley. He says with every vine of his being, I don't remember the phrase, he wants her out of the house. He keeps talking about a post-Riley world. He's made this very personal. Going back to Frenchie, he says Frenchie was the worst player in Big Brother, and that maybe Riley is now going to be the worst ever instead. Yeah, neither one of those I believe is valid. Hisam is in danger of making that list somewhere down towards the bottom with his power-hungry, very cocky gameplay that he's got going on right now. Can y'all tell I'm kind of off the Hisam train or wagon right now? Yeah, I think he's let the power go to his head. I think there's a lot of mistakes he's making right now. I think he's going to pay the price pretty quickly as well. All right, we got Corey talking directly to the cameras, saying that Sari, I love when people do that. We get to hear their inner thoughts. He's saying that Sari is all that he expected her to be, but if she targets Hisam, he's going to lose some respect for her. Why? I think it's that Corey feels somewhat comfortable with Hisam. Remember, Hisam said, Corey could make it to jury. That's all right. So I think Corey feels like he's not as big a target to Hisam as other people may be. So he's not as sold that Hisam needs to go right now. So he's saying he loves Sari, but if she targets Hisam, maybe he doesn't really respect that move. I think it's a smart move. He's saying that he thinks he did a good job of talking to Izzy and Hisam, building some bridges there. He thinks Jared is the best connected in the house. I think that may be true. Followed by Sari. Yeah, I think that could be true as well, Corey. Says he is having fun so far. I love to hear that. I want people to have fun playing this game. and play the strategy and everything. So he's having fun. He does say Hisam likes realness, likes vulnerability. So he's going to fake those things as much as possible because he sees that as a path to stay a little tighter with Hisam. He doesn't see a reason to necessarily for him to target Hisam if he was the HOH. If he wins HOH and he doesn't target Hisam, he's going to get a lot of pressure to do that. But he doesn't think that's really his best move going forward. Corey's wondering if there has ever been a house guest that overthinks as much as he has been doing. Why, yes, indeed, Corey. Every single one of us overthinks just almost every single situation, I do believe. There's nothing to do in that house except to get paranoid and overthink and go over and over again every possible scenario and outcome. We all do it. He's feeling the stress. He's feeling the uncertainty that goes with the game of Big Brother. All right, he's wondering how everyone is ranked on Big Brother websites like Joker's Updates, where he could be and what his stock watch would be with Taryn Armstrong and Rob has a podcast and all that. So he's very aware of all the social media and all of us outside folks that are talking about all of them and wondering where he's at. It's awful early, Corey. Let's see how we go a little bit further down the road. But I do think he's got a pretty good read on a lot of this. Not everything, but he at least is kind of understanding maybe how he needs to be building some of these relationships, what's involved with that. He's talking about who he could beat at Final Two, who he thinks he'd have problems with. In the interest of time, we aren't going to go over all that. When we get a little closer, we'll talk about that. All right, finally, we've got Matt and Riley talking. Matt wants to talk to Hisam and actually ask him to save Riley. Well, Hisam doesn't have a vote, but he does have a lot of influence still. So it's a valid consideration. So he's talking about maybe wanting to do that, but Riley's saying, look, don't throw your game away. I get it and I appreciate it, but don't throw your game away. He is saying if he was to win HOH, he would probably put up Izzy and Bowie Jane maybe is his first choice. But Matt's kind of bouncing around a lot about who he'd put up, and Riley's kind of saying, nah, that wouldn't work. Yeah, you could do that. So and not considering anything Matt says to be solid and set in stone if he does win HOH on down the road. Eventually he goes, I think, in to shower a little bit. Riley starts counting her votes over and over again, figuring out who she's got, who she doesn't have. She's basically decided that it all comes down to Cirie, that Cirie could be the deciding vote that either makes it go to a tie, which doesn't help her because then Hisam breaks a tie, or if Cirie votes to save her, that she would have the votes to stay and Cameron would go home. She thinks that may be where the situation is right now, but she's doing a lot of counting of votes. Eventually, Matt comes back out. She goes over the votes all over again. She's going to go over the votes 100 times plus over the next few days. It's just the way it happens. And with that, I think everyone's in bed by, I don't know, 4 o'clock or so Big Brother time. So we're going to call it right there. Again, a lot of talk for Sunday. Today, we've got the veto ceremony. I don't expect anything to change. And then the same conversations will be taking place for the next 2 or 3 days until we get Thursday. Now, we'll see what happens with the twist, with the netherworld and all of that. I think Hisam thinks that it's all over. There's no way. There's too much going on with it. I think we'll continue to see the netherworld for a little bit longer. We'll see, good or bad, what twists are coming up as a result of that. All right, guys, y'all have a fantastic Monday. Enjoy as best you can Monday. Tonight, Cliff Notes Live, 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central. You can look for me on YouTube. We're going to be talking 100% Big Brother, all kinds of conversations about scenarios, what we think of the players so far. So come on out, check us out, come with your questions. Looking forward to the discussion. Guys, until then, y'all have a fantastic Monday. I will check in again with you this evening and again tomorrow morning. SKD 143. Cheers, my friends. Bye.